Hi folks, I'm Tom Gallagher and I'm here at the Blandford Youth Centre. It's been handed over to us by the local council here for use as a helpline to help those who are in isolation. And it was just mentioned that it might be useful to put a video up of how we've developed our system to work with Boots, like a number of other agencies, to help those people that are in isolation. So if you're looking to do something similar, you can try and maybe follow our method and adjust it to what works for you locally. So our first mantra, obviously, we've got people coming into a physical location together. So it's thank you, you're awesome, but then wash your hands, wipe down your phone, wipe down your clipboard. But again, thank you, you're awesome. Thank you for showing up, but please don't bring anything in, and please don't take anything out in terms of virus potentially. So we're maintaining social distance in a decent area. We have a couple of office spaces. So what we've got is we've got a single phone line, but set up with wireless phone lines, so that we can have walking to the board if we need to look at any details, which have been covered up for now because of data protection, or if somebody is on the phone in this area, someone else can be doing a little bit of admin over here, and if someone's doing a bit of admin over here, you've got somebody still in the back office on that second phone, on that same phone line. So what we do, I'll show you a blank copy of the forms. So we've taken these details from folks to pass off to Boots, which that's been developed with the 3 Boots that are in Blandford. It may differ per location, so just work out the best you can, with your local pharmacies. And we also have just a general inquiries form as well, which we take details down for any other requirements there may be in terms of shopping, isolation, requirements for dog walking, trips to the hospital, whatever it may be. We make sure that we get a volunteer squared away and married up to that individual. Obviously follow any local guidance, so work with your pharmacies. For instance, this is the advice and guidance for anyone delivering on behalf of Boots. That's the phone line going now. But as you can see, because I'm busy, the other phones picked it up. So good actual system working there. So we've got a main board, which is where we put most of our information. It's got a number of details in regards to other agencies. So Age UK, for instance, who are helping out with a lot of the food side of things. We've got local councillors, etc., who are helping us out. We have a what's new in the zoo, so new information that we need to provide to anyone who requires it, who's coming on to shift, who may have missed that information previously. We have a number of NHS volunteer drivers, so we basically work out a grid for the week. We operate Monday through Saturday 10 AM through 4 PM. That allows us to get in early, sort out any problems from the day before, and then have enough time to drop off requirements to Boots in the afternoon before they shut. But what we do is we ask each week, what's their availability. And if you team yourself up with the NHS volunteers in your area who maybe aren't getting tasked through the app, then any calls that come in, you can get squared away and tasked and delivered as soon as possible. For the most part, you might find that you're getting people phoning you way in advance, which is great because you can put them on file, and then fire them into Boots about 3 days, 4 days prior to their due date. Is when Boots would best have them. 1, they're likely to have received the prescription at that point, and 2, their courier service will be able to manage with that request. Anything inside of that, say 24, 48 hours, a new prescription is urgent, or a missed delivery. Someone got their medication but something was missing, or it's going to be available but not till the following day, goes onto our urgent board, and that's where our NHS volunteers come in. So anything that's several days out, we pass to Boots and ask them to deliver it by courier. Anything that's within that window, we provide that extra capacity, but also that quick response, to get those medications out as quickly as possible. We've got a board per our individual pharmacies here at Blandford, and we task out on a one-for-one basis to our NHS volunteers. And that's how we've worked it. Certainly the NHS scheme doesn't cover everybody. It only covers those specific medical conditions. Now, Boots and a number of pharmacies are stepping up and offering free delivery via courier to anyone who's 70 plus, shielding, in isolation because they're sick. But their at least Boots' order of priority is a friend or a friend or a family member should collect it, then a volunteer organisation, and then Boots will step in. Now, certainly the local agreement here with our Boots, and you'd have to work this out with your individual pharmacies, is that we've advised that we don't have the capacity to deal with everything where there's not a family or friend member. So we need the Boots courier service to do at least some of the lifting, when it comes to getting those drops out there. And we will handle then those urgent cases that they potentially can't get to quick enough. And there are quite a lot of. So that takes a bit of strain off Boots in terms of their courier service and overmatching that. But it also ensures that we actually get the Boots courier service to handle some of the load so that the volunteer service isn't expected to do everything. Where we have some problems, in terms of working out what's gone on with a prescription, we have an on hold file and we review that daily. And we liaise with the patient as much as is required to work out where that prescription is. We also, another thing that we do to ensure that we don't miss anything is we have checkbacks. So the day after their prescription due date, when we're expected to have the delivery, or the day after you've delivered it yourself, we call back those individuals to check, did their medication arrive, for one, and secondly, did it have everything that they were expecting to be in there? That way, if there are any that are on the general board, that get handed over to Boots, and for whatever reason there's a problem with an owing, that wasn't available at the time, or for whatever reason the courier, didn't make it that day, it could be anything. They're instantly escalated to our urgent board, and we can make sure that that person in isolation gets taken care of. So this is essentially the intel. These are the guys doing all of the work. Working as closely as possible with your individual pharmacies so you can work out those problems and relationships, such as Boots courier needing to step in because we don't have the capacity to deal with everyone, but us helping Boots out by delivering those urgent cases to make sure that those in isolation get those medications that the GP has just decided they need, or where there was a problem with their delivery. Please do give me a shout if there's any questions you have. But I think it's going to be really important for either individual volunteers to band together or existing volunteer organisations to be as efficient as possible, because inevitably we're going to have people in isolation for a long time, months, maybe up until Christmas even. And the number of volunteers we're going to have to work on a one-for-one individual basis is going to drop as people return back to work. So those few volunteers that you do have that can stick around for a long while, or even those volunteers who will stick around regardless of work but can only dedicate a smaller amount of time, if we instill a little bit of efficiency in our working groups, and in our volunteer groups, then we might be able to cope with that downward trend in support and potentially upward trend in requirement. It's good speaking to you, and take care, and speak to you soon.